We're live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Swansea.com stadium here in South Wales. The team has already dropped. I'm sure you've seen it already. In fact, I can already see it in the comments. So we will bring it to you now in case you have missed it. Hopefully you can hear us okay. Let us know. It's a bit of a different microphone we're using tonight, but hopefully should be okay. 3 changes for Norwich City this evening, as you can see. Thanks, Sam, for helping us out. Gunn in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson, and Nunes as the back 4. Foreshort and McLean as the 2, with Springett and Rowe either side. Gabriel Sara behind Hwang Yu-jo. The subs bench, Long, Bart, McCallum. Sam's very helpfully even done the bench for us. Look at this. Long, Bart, McCallum, Fisher, Gibbs, Hernandez, Poeta, and Adam Ida. Sam, if you fancy a job, then let us know. Brilliant work, my friend. And that gives you a good indication of how Norwich City are lined up. Paddy, what are your thoughts? 3 changes. David Wagner promised changes. It was probably a necessity. Are you surprised the way that he's gone? Is that any surprise to you, the changes that he's made? Ida out, Fashion Act out, and remind me of the other one, Poeta out.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just not sure what that one Linus is trying to tell us there. Ish. Yeah, I don't know if that's some sort of noise, isn't it? Yeah. Good. If it is Sara, push further forward. Happy to see that. Less happy to see maybe young Tony Springett in there, and that's just a reflection on. I don't think he really grasped the opportunity at Fulham this midweek last week, and he wasn't involved at all on Saturday. So it's interesting. He was in, then he was out, then he's back in again tonight. David did say to you on Monday there would be changes, and he's definitely stuck true to his word. I think Forshaw in alongside McLean. I think we both felt that would be the way he'd go on Saturday. He didn't go that way, but if it is in that type of lineup, then inevitably the focus for me is at the top end of the pitch, and Rowe, Springett, and Sara behind Hwang. Well, let's see. We've not seen that 4 together. Fashnak out isn't a surprise to me. I think his performance level has dipped in the recent games. I don't know whether that's a reflection of maybe the relentlessness of the championship, and that's caught up with him a little bit. We were discussing it. I don't think in Switzerland, in terms of the amount of teams in the league he would play in, he would probably have quite the schedule he's had to endure since he got into the Norwich lineup. So I'm not surprised to see him come out. But let's be honest, it is a surprise, isn't it? The Springett comes in tonight. So we know what a big fan of him David Wagner is. Let's see a little bit more of that tonight. But I just hope it is Sara as the chief support to Hwang rather than Springett, and where would that leave Sara? Unless we've got a completely reshaped midfield, which isn't really David Wagner's MO, is it? He's very settled in his thinking in terms of the structure of the side. So for me, if it is Sara alongside Hwang, then that's a huge plus from this 11, because we know what a major talent Gabi Zara is, and if you can get him in and around the final third of Swansea, he should be able to inflict some damage. So that's the upside. Downside, I'm not too sure how Hwang and Springett.
Well, I was going to ask you about Hwang in particular, because we were at Fulham last week, and David Wagner was asked about Hwang, and he said that he was pleased with his grasping of the defensive elements, but there was still work to do from an offensive perspective. He made a pretty positive contribution when he came on at the weekend, obviously teeing up John Rowe with a brilliant flick that was also kind of a tackle on Bielik. Are you surprised that we're seeing him, because we know that David likes to go with 2 predominantly, are you surprised that we're seeing him kind of by himself? I know he's going to get support from Gabi Zara most likely, but he is the only sort of recognised striker in that team.
Well, it can only be, can't it? Because he's talked very favourably about Ida and his impact since Sargent and Barnes got sidelined. And I thought he was good again on Saturday. First half particularly, he looked the most likely. So to take him out of the side can only be this rotational, hectic schedule, a lot of travel, and just trying to protect a little bit of the freshness element of it. Because I think if you were doing it in terms of who might be more effective in that sort of lone frontman role, for me it's Adam Ida out of him and Hwang. We haven't seen anywhere near enough from Hwang yet. He was better second half on Saturday, but there's still a sense that he's learning what it's all about here, and the demands that would be placed on him in terms of that area of the pitch under David Wagner. So I think now we've seen this lineup, I won't be at all surprised if it's Ida back in and Hwang out for Coventry, because that's clearly where David Wagner's head is at for these remaining 2 games before we get into the next international period. It's managing bodies, it's managing minutes, but within that, of course, you still want to have an effective performance and good enough to come here and get a result against the team who are 3-0, 3-0 in the last 2 games. Maybe he's looked at that. I mean, by all accounts, they're a very good footballing side in the Michael Duff. If it's going to be a bit more of what we saw at Fulham, in terms of Norwich will have less of the ball, less of the territory, but in transition they can be very good. Then, with Rowe, with Zara, spring it to a lesser degree, but Hwang, maybe that suits him a little bit more. But I mean, if it was no Coventry game the weekend, I think we'd see a slightly different lineup. So we'll see if that strategy pays off tonight, won't we? Ultimately.
Yeah, just to bring you on, Fashnak, he is on the bench this evening, so I'll just repeat the bench in case you missed it. It's Long, Bart, McCallum, Fisher, Gibbs, Hernandez, Poheta, Fashnak and Adam Eder. So that's Norwich City's sub-bench. Paddy's going to try and get the comment up from Sam, which documented that, I think. When there it is. And I'll bring you the Swansea team. I'm afraid our fourth member of the team, Adam, is away on holiday in Malaga, so you have to do it. I mean, what a terrible life he leads. So we've got Swansea, he's got Malaga, so no Swansea graphic, but I will read it out for you. They've got Carl Rushworth in goal, Key, Cabango, Darling, Grimes, Jerry Yates, Jamal Lowe, who was one of the options that Norwich City considered for that striker loan that Hwang took up. Jamie Patterson, Charlie Patino, Liam Cullen and Bashir Humphreys. That is Swansea's lineup, and I'll just try and bring you their subs bench as well, which is Andy Fisher, Jake Bolton, Josh Timon, Mykola Kurievich, Carl Norton, familiar name of course, Liam Walsh, Harrison Ashby, Ollie Cooper and Cameron Congreve. And as you mentioned, Pad, a really interesting time for Norwich to be playing Swansea, because it was a slow start. They're obviously under new management here in Michael Duff, who replaced Russell Martin, who went to Southampton. A bit of a slow start, but I think I'm right in saying they've only lost one of their last 9 here, and they've won the last 2 3-0. So it still feels quite a difficult task for Norwich City tonight, this.
I wasn't aware it was one defeat in 9 here. I mean, that is quite an impressive statistic in terms of what Michael Duff's trying to do. Inevitably, given he took over from Russell Martin, who was in his thinking, very, very sort of set in terms of the demands he placed on his Swansea players, there was going to be a period of transition. They've obviously lost a few players, haven't they? Piro's moved on to Leeds, hasn't he? He was a key player for this group. And it will take time, but there are signs, and you've mapped it out there with the results, particularly the last 2, that the penny's beginning to drop. And there's absolutely no doubt what we got here.
So I'm just laughing at a lineup that is showing Adam Forshaw as a striker, which is quite funny, but that's what I want to highlight, really.
Well, the game has gone if Adam Forshaw is leading the line. What we got here, we got Springett, Rowe and Hwang
on the left.
Yeah, I don't think we need to pay too much attention to that.
Made me laugh anyway.
Yeah, no. But ultimately, I think, by all accounts, are a very possession-based team. So I'm happier seeing a David Wagner team against those type of sides, because I think that suits what he tries to do with his team. Conversely, when the onus is on Norwich to try and break down teams, we've seen it can get a bit stodgy, and you question whether they do have the individuals to unlock doors. Whereas if it is this type of game tonight, that will suit, I think, the shape out of possession, and in transition they've got pace. Obviously, Rowe again is the key man for me tonight, along with Zara, because even that Fulham game, a lot of different personnel, but in terms of the type of game, if it was the same one as we got tonight, then Norwich created a lot of good chances at Craven Cottage, and really probably should have took that game maybe to penalties, could have even nicked it. So I don't think David Wagner necessarily will be too worried if Swansea have a lot of the ball and a lot of territory, as long as they're not being able to get in and around a solid bank of 2 forwards in front of Angus Gunn, because I think in transition Norwich do have players in this lineup who can hurt the opposition. So, but the last 2 games they haven't conceded, so that tells you defensively they're pretty decent as well. So it's a real test tonight, I think. I mean, you not giving any confidences away, you think, Connor, that you don't have a good feeling about this one?
No.
I don't think either of us had a good feeling about Plymouth, but not to the extent how it unfolded. But I wouldn't be overly surprised if it's another defeat tonight, but certainly not on the scale of Plymouth. But this, make no mistakes, this tonight could be quite a test, particularly with that lineup that he's named tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned transitions in particular, because those wide options, Rowe, Springett, they would lean to that, wouldn't they? Really, they would show that they're kind of players that want the space to gallop into. So that's an interesting point. I think you've kind of teed it up nicely there as to maybe our feeling around the game. So just try and put that into a prediction for us. What are you expecting? What are you expecting this evening?
Difficult one, really. I don't really not tipping any way, really. If I'm honest, I could see all three results, yeah. But sorry, my eyes have been taken. But there's a Swansea coaching member who was like practicing his golf swing in the centre circle. I know the Celtic Manor's not that far from here, is it? But I think he needs to get his mind on the job. I don't think it's tough, but one of his backroom team is definitely more interested in his golf swing. So. As long as there's no fours for Swansea, we'll be all right. But I'm going to sit on the fence and go 1-1, which wouldn't be the worst result, I think, given that this is a team who are in a bit of form at the minute. But I do think it'll be a tough affair tonight, and if it went tipped the other way, I could see that as well. So I'll sit on the fence. Draw. You, Connor?
Yeah, I'll join you on the fence. I'll go 1-1. Despite a negative feeling that I have, but that might be just a trauma from long trips after Plymouth. I'm not quite sure. Let's see what we get. Thank you all very much for watching. Pinkin.com, of course, the place to go. Pre, during, and post-match as well for all of the reaction analysis. I'll be on the live blog over on the Pinkin app. You can go to Pinkin.com, subscribe. All the details are there for you, and let's hope Joshy is a lot more accurate with his prediction than we are. Thank you very much for watching from South Wales. See you very soon.